untangling the mystery. Was it murder or something else?
Perspectives on what was the cause of someone's death, what the manner of death was. Is it undetermined? This is a case you have to prove beyond the reasonable doubt. You show a little bit of confusion there, a little bit of doubt, that might give the jury some pause. And then it becomes the question for the jury, who do you think is more credible? Who do you believe, jury? Now, I don't know if they could create the narrative that he didn't kill Celeste.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he probably did poke at her eye or do something. But what I'm saying is that it's not unusual for eyes to liquefy in that situation. All right. And they're not going to liquefy at the same time. We don't know if he punched her in the eye and they were fighting. And then he's like, you know what? Let's make this representative of all of my gory fantasies. So yeah, you can ask that, and I can ask you, and I can ask that anybody that. But I do think that him wearing the Black Dahlia and the eye and then the different anime was very representative of what he did to Celeste. I just don't want to sensationalize that he took her eye out like it was some trophy. I think there's a middle ground to that. All right. He thinks he's way smart though. Yeah, the brain liquefies too. It all liquefies, especially when it's in hot ass weather in LA in the summer for months in a black car.
But rather she died from an accident. Could she have died from an overdose? I mean, maybe tough given the alleged injuries, and that while she may have had alcohol in her system, it didn't contribute to her death unless there's a forensic pathologist that disagrees. So could that be challenged? You know, in the report, they talk about that she tested presumptive positive.
Now, guys, do you know how she was identified? Her dental records. Deborah Brush? Yes, it was her dental records that identified her. All right. Nothing else. You couldn't see what she looked like. Her face, I mean, just, I don't know if you've ever seen things like that. Like if anybody saw the Gannon Stauch when they found him in the suitcase, that's what happens to bodies. And his was a little more, probably a lot more preserved than Celeste was, in two separate bags, all cut up. They said it looked like Celeste's body was ripped apart by an animal. Again, hence the chainsaws, right? A chainsaw is just going to be like just tearing through it. All right, let's continue.
For benzodiazepines and methamphetamines and MDMA on the initial drug screening, but the methamphetamine and these opioids, they were, quote, inconclusive due to interfering substance or substances on the second drug screening. So, you know, it's a little confusion there. Again, I wonder a combination of cross-examining the prosecution's medical examiner or pathologist about their findings, questioning them about their history, their credibility, the complications of Celeste's body. Could this be a way to raise reasonable doubt? Maybe, unless I'm wrong, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they have a definitive murder weapon. Yes. And that would help a prosecution's case for sure, a way to tie a particular weapon and instrument to the defendant. DNA, location, things like that, fingerprints. So if they don't have a definitive murder weapon, how do you know what was used and by whom? Is that reasonable doubt? And this goes to a larger issue, and I do wonder this, and I've said this before, but I want to highlight it a little bit more. It goes to this issue of, will the defense have trouble arguing away certain things?
And guys, I mean, he left such a trail that the knife that he showed us right around the time of Celeste's murder and the smooth cuts. Remember, there were smooth cuts. Those are the ones that the medical examiner said caused her death. Okay, you see the front part of her, one that punctured her liver, and then the other one punctured her lung. Okay, they can take that OTF knife. He left a trail of evidence. There's a knife that he calls, look at my OTF knife, and it pushes out, right? It's almost like a switchblade. They can find that exact model and match it up to the size of the cuts and the smoothness and the depth. They can do that. He doesn't realize that he gave everything away. All right. That's not hard to do. All right. He showed us exactly. There's only so many OTF knives that look like that. I collect them, I assure you.
And just have to admit other things. That's a long conversation they have to have with their client once they get a better sense of what all the evidence is. And again, let me be clear. He's innocent until proven guilty. But here's the issue that I see. I go back to what was said in the prosecution's pretrial brief. And I'm just going to assume for a moment all of this is true and they have all this. Quote, Tellingly, defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. On April 24th, 2025, defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered to his home from Postmates.
Yes.
On May 1st, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home. On May 5th, 2025, defendant ordered and Amazon subsequently delivered a box.
Now, all of this stuff is what is written in the, let's say, probable cause, all right? And Linda, you should go back and watch my channel. Go take a look. I've got 2 episodes on Athena Strand, and it's not episodes like where you have to watch the whole trial. I did watch many parts of the trial, but in episode 1, it tells you all about Athena Strand and Tanner Horner. And in part 2, it tells you he got the death penalty and everything else. So yes, I've heard of Athena Strand, and I'm so glad that I'm not having to cover that anymore, because that is a dark, dark case. That could happen to anyone, right? Any of this could happen to anyone, but when your FedEx driver that's delivering your Christmas presents kidnaps your child and it's right on video, and then he proceeds to rape her and violently kill her, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. In this case is bad. Yeah, no, evil. The FedEx guy's evil as well. F that guy.
Body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his home. He made these purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez.
Yep,
On May 8th, 2025, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again on May 31st, 2025. This is an isolated site off SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January 2026. Additionally, on July 7th, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. That's tricky for the defense. Do they say, well, look, I don't know.
Now, listen, I got to tell you, it definitely deters you from letting your children outside. Now, Mama Pearl, I saw you walking up with baby Guilty and her friend, and I was getting prepped for this episode today, and they're 11 and 12. They asked me, can you drop us off at the park, and then we'll ask Grandma to pick us up? And I said, abso-freaking-lutely not. Unless I go, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to the park. You're not going out front. You're not going to the store. You're not going to talk to the fucking FedEx driver. You're not going to talk to the UPS driver. And then I proceeded to call baby Guilty's friend's mom and say, hey, do you let her go to the park when she's home? Like, because the last time she came over too, they were trying to go to the damn park. She's like, no, I don't ever let her go anywhere without an adult. And I'm like, amen, preach, sister, preach. Now get back in your room and go make a mess so I can clean it when I'm done with this damn episode. Because that's what they're doing. They're screaming and making messes in the house. But at least I know they're safe, all right? Miss Joy, thank you so much. Happy Friday. She said, very glad I found your channel earlier this week. Well, thank you. I'm glad you found my channel too. And I'd love to know what's behind that picture with the big boxing gloves and the girl. All right. Anyway, welcome. If you're new, welcome. Jessica says, did you see the video of David with the... Yeah, I did. And if you go into my last episode, we talked about that too. He had the mummified finger that he was wrapping. That was in the Tommy video that I did. He said it was someone's finger. I can't remember I covered that. Go back to my episode 2 episodes ago, and it shows that in the Tommy episode. I think a lot of people didn't realize I was covering this case, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, you guys, you stay your butts home. If you got to make a mess in the house, I'll freaking clean it. We'll call the house cleaner to clean it, but at least they're safe, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm like, hell no. I'm going to call your mom and find out if she lets you go. No? Okay. Stay your asses in here. Shut up. I'm just kidding. We're the cool parents. You had to know that, right? I have a 26-year-old son, and we've always been the cool parents, the safe place to go. All right? Not like Queen Bee's house.
We can argue against those purchases at those times. I mean, I guess they can say, how do you know for sure David was the one who made those purchases? Do they look at other potentially strange purchases he's made over the years? Do they say, hey, this was for other purposes, a music video? Strange timing of that, right? Considering if they say she was killed April 23rd, and then all of these very specific items are ordered and delivered. And again, they say that she arrived at his place April 23rd, that she's killed shortly after she arrives. There's no more cell phone use by her after that. And then he buys all this stuff. Or do they admit it? Do they say, yeah, he bought this stuff. And yes, he bought this stuff to get rid of Celeste's body. That we will even admit this, again, from the prosecution's brief. Moreover, defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor, defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's Forensic Science Division Trace Analysis Unit. An expert was able to make a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by defendant in May 2025.